Yeah, and some of the ones that we were really fighting against were just some of the different propositions that are trying to take away, like certain property taxes for like older people. There's so you can go like on a 2 hour discussion just on some of those, but those are some of the things that we're trying to fight for is to make sure that homeowners are able to keep their property taxes down, being able to pass those on to their heirs without having a big property tax jump, and then to the point where
You're like, what?
people who are inheriting
Yeah.
property suddenly they've got a big tax bill.
Welcome to another episode of Get Real Estate with Liz. And today I have a special friend and colleague,
Yeah.
Mario. Mario, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit of what you do and who you are and where you come from?
Okay, well, my name is Mario Estrada. I am a realtor here on the Central Coast, primarily working the 5 cities down to Santa Maria area, but I do cover most of SLO County. Let's see where I come from. I come from the 5 cities, born and raised right here in San Luis Obispo County. Proud to say that I am a lifelong resident of the 5 cities. I've seen so many changes since I was a kid up until now. So
I bet.
yeah, so it's this area, it's really nice. I don't blame people for wanting to move here. Lots of growth, lots of changes, but the Central Coast is one of those hidden gems in California.
One of the best places to live.
Yeah, that's right.
And I met Mario when I moved to the 5 cities area and I became a realtor over there. And you were the vice president or
President-elect at the time.
president-elect for the board. How was that helpful in your career?
It's really helped me see the inner workings of how real estate works behind the scenes, where a lot of laws get passed in California that pertain to real estate. And one of the things that we do as board members of our associations is that we participate in the state meetings that occur in either Sacramento or in Anaheim, where we discuss upcoming legislations that is being put forth by some of our legislators here in California. Now, some of those bills may be detriment to homeowners, or some of them may be in favor of homeowners or just home ownership in general. And really what we do is try to advocate for home ownership in California. So we pay attention to all of that stuff. We debate them and see whether or not we want to oppose a bill or support a bill. And so that's just one of the many responsibilities that we have when we are serving on the board of directors of our local associations, because it's all of the associations in California that will come together and discuss these in open forum.
I remember even seeing you over there when I was part of the Women's Council of Realtors down south in LA. And it's good to get information for our clients and for ourselves as well.
Yeah, and some of the ones that we were really fighting against were just some of the different propositions that are trying to take away, like certain property taxes for like older people. There's so you can go like on a 2 hour discussion just on some of those, but those are some of the things that we're trying to fight for, is to make sure that homeowners are able to keep their property taxes down, being able to pass those on to their heirs without having a big property tax jump, and then to the point where
You're like, what?
people who are inheriting property
Yeah.
suddenly they've got a big tax bill and they can't afford it. And so those are things that we want people to have that generational wealth, to be able to retain properties that their parents bought. Now they want to pass it on to them. And a lot of times some of these properties are free and clear, which means there's no debt on them. And that's one of the greatest gifts a parent can give to their child is, they get to the age where they can't live on their own, or they pass away and they will it to their kids. So those are the things that we want to see. We want people to be able to keep their homes as they're passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah. And people already have like a payment shock when they have those supplemental tax bills. So now imagine when you're inheriting a property and you think like, oh, it's free and clear, but then you're like, surprise, here's your supplemental tax bill that now you have to pay the difference between from, whenever they bought it or whatever fees that they're doing.
Yeah, and so that's why we try to fight those bills or any of those proposals that are going to affect that. And so we really think that people should be able to pass those assets on and not be so overburdened with the tax that it just has to get sold, or and then those people end up being renters for the rest of their lives. They never have a chance to be or get home ownership.
So those are the behind the scenes that people don't know about, that everybody's out there fighting for you guys. And so Mario, I know that you're a realtor. What made you become a realtor, if you don't mind me asking?
I actually always wanted to do real estate. Ever since I was a kid, I used to remember we lived in this apartment in North Grover, and I always remembered this man, Mr. Mello.
Mr. Mello.
He would always come by every once in a while, and I would always see my dad giving him money. And so one day I asked my dad, I said, why do you always give him money every time he comes around? So he explained to me what it meant to be a landlord versus a tenant. He said that he owns this apartment. We don't own it. So we rent from him. He lets us live here, but we have to pay him rent every month in order for us to stay here. So it kind of like, oh, wow, I'd like to
You're like, that's
own some
neat.
properties.
I
and
want
have
people to pay me.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but now I would not want to be a landlord. So, but those are just those.
That's another story.
Yeah, exactly. So those are like some of the innocent thoughts that I had about real estate. And so, as the years went on, I would always see those late night infomercials about hey, you can buy real estate with no money. And I thought, man, that's great because I don't have any money. So I'd love to buy real estate.
Right.
So, but, as I, learned more about it and figured out what that actually meant, I ended up getting into real estate on the investing side of the business and figured out, oh, you can buy real estate
without money.
Without money. You use
other people's money.
Exactly, OPM. And so, I just through education and all of that, I, did a little bit of that in my investing career. And then that just kind of evolved into becoming a realtor.
And that was actually going to be my next question. Were you an investor before you got your real estate license, or did you get your real estate license and then decided to become an investor?
No, I actually started investing in real estate. So I had acquired a few properties. I did a few wholesale deals, which is the no money down type of real estate. And I did have a couple rentals for a little bit. Recently sold those off. But yeah, I started investing in 2009 and then got my real estate license in 2014. When I lost my job of 20 years, I thought, well, what am I going to do? Being that I had already been involved a little bit in real estate, I thought, well, maybe I should just get my license now. And so that's what I did in 2014 when I got laid off from my job. And then 6 months later, I got my real estate license and sold my first house within the first 60 days of having it.
Wow. Impressive. So, Mario, I know that you're part of the it's an investment group. That you continue to do. I mean, I know that it went off the grid for a little bit and now you're back at it. Can you tell everybody what that group is and, who can come join you and when is it?
Yeah. So in 2010, when I was first getting into the real estate investing side of business, I formed a group called the Central Coast REIA or RIA, which stands for Real Estate Investor Association. And so that was mainly geared for anybody who was interested in investing in real estate. Didn't matter what type of investing it was. It was, doing wholesale, subject to, which, hearing those terms, you might not know what they are, but come to a class like ours and we're going to teach
or
that
another
to you.
podcast.
Yeah. So wholesaling, subject to fix and flips, buy and holds, being a landlord. Some people were doing some Airbnb stuff. Other people were lending money to these type of investors who were, flipping properties and things like that. So all of that stuff is what we were teaching in that club. And it wasn't just necessarily me teaching it. It was people who already had that experience, who had been doing it and were actually showing examples to other people on the properties they bought, how much they bought it for, and what they negotiated. And repairing properties and then reselling them and showing the profit, just showing step by step by step by step how they were able to complete those deals and make some money on it. So that was the whole idea of the club, was to teach that to someone brand new walking in would be able to have enough knowledge to go out and find a property, get it under contract, make a few bucks, and then move on to the next one. So we did that for 10 years until COVID actually shut everything down. It kind of was a little bit unexpected. I had been running the meeting 10 years straight. And then, COVID just kind of shut everything down. And then as we were coming out of it, a couple years later, I wasn't really focused on continuing to run the group because I had been very busy as a realtor.
Yeah.
And so
you're doing your own thing.
Yeah. And so I was approached a few months ago by one of the other guys who originally came to our group, not knowing anything about real estate. And then he ended up building up a really successful fix and flip business and all of the other things that I was talking about.
I've already invited him to come here.
Yeah. So he approached me and said, "Hey, are we going to fire this thing back up again?" And I said, "Oh yeah, let's do it." It's been a little tough on this go around because some of the people that I've tried to schedule as speakers, sometimes their schedules don't work out. Where before, we always had our meetings at the end of every month, the fourth Thursday of the month. And then, just trying to maintain that schedule. I've had a few speakers, I can't make it on this day or I can't make it that day. And like, okay, well, just, yeah. So I'm trying to get back
I'm
that
fully
consistency.
aware of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that consistency again, but trying to balance running that group and then on top of my business where I've got people that need my attention right away.
Right.
That's
Plus your personal life.
Yeah, that's going to take a little bit more precedence. But I'm getting a little bit of help with it. So we are going to be a little more consistent with that. It's just trying, getting back into the swing of running that club after being on a hiatus for 4 years. So.
Well, I had the privilege of going to one of those meetings, and you see a lot of people, well-minded that are doing the same thing and just kind of piggyback from each other. And I think it's really, really important if that's something that you guys want to do to go to one of these meetings. So.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really exciting is seeing a lot of younger people, 20-something-year-old kids who want to do something with their lives. They're not just, hey, let's go party and drink. And
I think a lot of it is social media. They see somebody being successful and doing good, and they want to kind of follow in those footsteps. So
yeah, exactly. And just from talking with, I'll just say his name, Jeremy Rubin, who has helped me.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy. Who helped me get this thing reignited. Some of the people that he's been working with, these younger kids, they're making some money. They're doing good. They're transacting on real estate, and
his team is growing.
Yeah, and when I was that age, my main focus was, okay, where's the next party at?
Right.
What bar are we going to? And these guys are just so focused on making a success for themselves and their families, and some of them do have their families involved in it, so that's very inspiring. And I'm happy to help them in any way that I can, in addition to whatever they've got going on with Jeremy.
Yeah.
So just even if it's just a word of encouragement.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you for doing that. And Mario, where can they get that information?
If they want to, they can email me. It's centralcoastreia@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram page, Central Coast. Hey, no, wait. Let me look at my phone.
And your
quick.
personal Instagram too.
Yeah, Mario Estrada Realtor on Instagram, but you can also find me. Let me make sure I get the right one here.
And also, while he's looking for that, Mario's actually a DJ as well. So he is a realtor with many hats.
Yeah, so it's Central Coast REIA 805 for our area code 805. And on here, there's a bunch of different videos from our past meetings. Jeremy's got the videographer who takes little clips of everything, puts captions on them, and highlights some of the important aspects of the meeting for everyone to watch. So yeah, feel free to follow us. We'll follow you back. We're not one of those influencers who want 1 million followers and we only follow 2 people back. We actually follow everyone else back, and and make comments on everything that everyone else is doing. So, so yeah.
So just so you know, we as realtors, we don't only just represent buyers and sellers, but we also do investing on the side or help investors find properties and resell their properties. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah.
So Mario, I know I kind of mentioned that you're a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little background of what made you a DJ, or?
Well, just my love of music. I've always really liked music, but what got me into it is I used to be a bouncer at a bar in Grover Beach. Yeah. And so one day, the DJ shows up, play the music, and I like electronics. I like messing with that type of stuff, and so I asked the guy, I said, "Hey man, well, show me what you're doing." And so he showed me the mixer and all that other stuff. And then one day he couldn't make it, so he goes, "Hey, you know how to run the stuff. Just use
it for me.
use CDs and and be the DJ for the night." I'm like, "Okay." And this was like, gosh, back 1999, maybe 2000.
Oh, that's when I graduated.
Yeah. So at the end of the night, the bartender flips me $100 for DJ, and I'm like, I can make some money on this.
Yeah, and you love music, so why not?
Yeah,
it's a win-win.
So I started making an investment in buying some DJ equipment, and then it turned into a pretty fun business. Jam and Entertainment was my company name. I did a lot of weddings. At first it started out as just doing other bars and nightclubs. I DJ'd Slow Brew. I DJ'd a few places in Santa Maria and then around town. And then when I did my first wedding, when I made like $1,000, I go, whoa, this is way better than making $100, DJing all night at a bar. And then I'm not home until 3 a.m. And I'm home at 11 o'clock and I've got $1,000 in my pocket. So I started focusing more on doing weddings, and that turned out to be a really good thing, because even as I stopped doing as much DJing so I could focus on real estate, I still get people from like 15, 20 years ago who I did their wedding, and now they got their kids graduating from high school, and then they're asking me to come DJ their graduations. And then more recently now, after those graduations, 3-4 years later, they're getting married. So now I'm DJing their kids' weddings.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I brought it up, because I know that you were going to retire. You sold your equipment and everything. And then here I see you DJing again. I was like, wait, what?
I know. It's hard to say no, especially when you like the people that you've DJ'd for. And they just say, "Oh, Mario, we had such a good time at our wedding. We want our kids to have the same experience. We just need you to DJ." I'm like, okay. So, I mean, I sold the majority of like my turntables. I'm like every other DJ from the past, I wish I would have kept my turntables. I wish I would have kept my turntables.
Right.
But I can still do it just off of my computer and a mixer that I had upgraded to, because I was using this old beat up one, and then I bought a nice one right before COVID happened. And that's actually when I decided to stop DJing.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had 8 weddings booked that year, and they all got canceled.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, forget it. Now's the time to just stop DJing. Yeah. And then 2 years later, here we go. Everything's back to normal. And so, yeah, just, I'll DJ when someone asks me, but I do not advertise for it. It's just a word of mouth thing.
Yeah. So I know that you were saying about the difference between DJing at a bar versus at a wedding. It's kind of the same thing with real estate, working, how they say work smarter and not harder. How can you relate that with real estate?
Let me see. I don't know if it's working smarter in real estate or working hard, because
we work hard. That's for sure. Everybody thinks we don't do much, but because constantly
we go pretty hard at real estate. But I think like with working smarter, especially with regard to marketing for real estate, using social media, using the different programs that, like Canva and some other things where you can make flyers and digital flyers, put it out there everyone sees it, you promote yourself. And so people see it, they remember it. And even if they're not looking for something right then and now, they
They
talk to
remember, yeah.
somebody. Like I got a listing that just went live yesterday. So that came from my aunt, who is always liking my stuff. She's not buying a house anytime soon, but she talked to a lady who all of a sudden had a need to sell their house. And so that just in conversation, they said, "Hey, do you know anybody who could, help us sell this?" She goes, "My nephew is a realtor. Let me call him." And that's because of the stuff I put
Yeah.
out there on social media. So you try to stay top of mind, and just letting everybody know that you're there to help them. You're a resource. The one kind of running joke in this business is that, yeah, we're agents, but we don't want to be a secret agent. Being a secret agent can be cool if you're James Bond, but we don't, we're not, we want everybody
Everybody
to
to
know
know.
that
Yeah.
we're an agent, so that when they need you, they can call
Yeah,
you.
top of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
That's
all it is.
how pretty much how advertisement is, like they did a study about, what's the number one when I say soda, what's the first thing that comes up to mind? Coke, right?
Coke.
And then the same thing with chips and like detergent and stuff like that. And so it is top of mind. So if you're constantly out there, whether, it's just a post or like, hey, I'm showing this house or whatever, people are going to remember you next time somebody brings up, do you know anybody that does real estate? Yep.
Yep.
Mario, Elizabeth, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah. So Mario, anything that you want to share with us? Any experience in the real estate business from when you started to now, like the changes, atmosphere, everything, agents, other agents. We deal with other people all the time. Some of them are very helpful and some of them are not. And some of them are, like we were mentioning, shady. Some of them are out of the area where they just kind of like ghost you too as well. So you're just like, what's going on here? You're trying to show a listing and you can't really show it because, they're never answering.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things is that if you don't answer your phone in this business, you're going to be out of business. And I've had even like some lenders in the past who they're begging me for my business. So then when I call them and I need something, they don't answer the phone. Like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not the type of person that I'm going to call you just because I want to chit chat. If I'm calling you, it's business.
Yeah.
And if they don't answer their phone, okay, I'll leave a message, but I only give them about 20 minutes to return my call, or I'm calling the next person because I need answers right now for some of these clients that I'm trying to write offers for. So, just if anybody out there is watching this that's a lender, realtor, answer your phone. Don't just let it go to voicemail. And if it does have to go to voicemail, because sometimes I don't always answer, but as soon as I am off the call, I am calling that other person right back, or at least I'll hit the message button and say, "Hey, can I call you right back? I'm on a call." And sometimes some people just have the habit of not calling anybody back, and that is so bad for business. That is, just I'm not going to say it's unprofessional, but we're supposed to be professionals, so we should hold ourselves up to that standard.
Yeah, accountability. And there's times where it happens, where you have the intention, because I'm guilty of it at times, or somebody will tell you, call me in the afternoon, and then you're like, okay, so I'll call them in the afternoon, but then they're like, wait, she's not calling me right now, and I'm like, wait, you just told me to call you this evening. So I mean, it's just communication it's key. It's very important, especially in this business. So yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, overall, I've always loved this business. I enjoy selling real estate. I enjoy, negotiating for my clients and helping them get the most that their dollar is going to buy them. And, for the most part, my clients have been very happy with the homes they've purchased. And, even now that I've been in the business for 10 years, I've got some past clients who are now calling me back saying, "Hey, we need to sell because I've got a job transfer. I've got to move over here. I got to move out of the area." And I'm working with a couple of those right now. So, just when you
Build
sell,
that relationship.
you build that relationship, you sell them a house. But I always tell them, hey, just because we sold a house now, doesn't mean I'm going to go away. If you
Yeah.
need anything, give me a call. I am here for you. The service doesn't end just
Yeah.
because escrow's closed.
Yeah.
So
That's what I tell my clients too. If they get anything in the mail, just take a picture, send it to me. You know, just because I handed you the keys doesn't mean like that's it. We're never going to talk to each other until you need me next time. It's just building that relationship, and you kind of become like family. You know, like they'll send you memes, they'll invite you to their gatherings or carne asada, baby showers, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
so it's a service for life, I say.
yeah.
Because not every agent is here for the long run. So some of them are just like transactional agents, and some of them are, you know, building this as a career.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so there's all types of agents.
Yeah. That is true.
So I mean, I speak for myself, just like as he speaks for himself. You know that he's here for his clients for years and years, but I can't say that for every other agent. So.
Yeah, it's you see some who come in and they're all gung ho, and then all of a sudden, hey, where did they go?
Yeah, I've noticed that during COVID, there was a lot of agents, and now I haven't seen some of the agents that were pretty active back then, and so you do see them fall out.
Yeah, well, this isn't an easy
like
business.
my hat falling out, falling out like my hat.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of sad, but a lot of people see the glitz and glamour on TV. You know, I think shows like Selling Sunset,
$1 million
really,
listings.
they don't really paint the picture of what happens behind the scene. They're showing the glitz and glamour and some of this, you know, drama that if anybody ever
It's
acted
more
like
drama.
well, if anybody ever acted like that on my team, they're gone. So, but you know, anyway, you know, to the point that you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens that people don't really see.
Yeah.
They just see, oh, they closed, and you know, little ching ching, here's the money. But all of the other stuff that
Yeah,
goes
but
on.
there's so much behind the scenes. I mean, they don't know that you're climbing fences or sneaking through, you know, gate to open the other gate, or, you know, negotiations, going up in the attic, cleaning out houses in 110-degree weather, you know, just so many different things that happen behind the scenes that really nobody sees.
Well, I'll tell you one story that happened is I had a listing on a mobile home in San Luis, and the mobile home manager went over there and said, "Oh, you guys can't close escrow until those trees are trimmed back, all of these weeds are picked," and he made a pretty big fuss about the condition of the property, which I've never experienced that. It's kind of weird. But my clients were, they were elderly, and they were like, you know, oh my God, we can't get all this stuff done. I went and grabbed a bunch of tools, and I went over there to their house 2 days before we're supposed to close escrow. I start trimming back tree branches. I'm out there pulling weeds, and I'm cleaning the place up for them. You know, you don't see any of that.
They don't see none of that.
None of those TV shows. I mean, my pants were all muddy because it had rained the day before, and my shoes were all messed up. But, you know, hey, I did what I had to do to help them because they weren't going to be able to do it on time. So those are the things people don't see.
I had a client that just left in the middle of escrow, and Jorge Cruz was the buyer's agent on that deal, and I was the listing agent. My client just went MIA. They left the house completely furnished with a bunch of stuff, old stuff, new stuff, you know, everything. And it was a 4-bedroom, and there was like 4 families living in there. So between me, my daughter, she was like, it was the hottest day in Paso. We filled out, I kid you not, horse trailers, a big horse trailer. We filled it out 5 times and took it to the dump. And Jorge was like, we're not closing escrow until this house is clean, which is, I mean, he's, you know, it's the truth. You know, obviously I'm not going to close escrow on a house that it's a mess. You know, how are the new buyers going to come in and, you know, take care of that?
Yeah.
So those are the things, like I said, nobody sees. So you know, cutting those trees. I just did in Atascadero, there was drywall and insulation that had fallen from the rain. And I had to go in there and take all that stuff between me and, you know, another person. We came in and clear that place out. There's dust everywhere. You know, it's a lot of things that, like I said, nobody sees.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Builds character.
Yeah. So Mario, what kind of advice can you give new agents out there that are wanting to get into real estate, as well as homeowners that are trying to first-time home buyers?
I would say for newer agents, you just need to carve out the time to be able to do this business. When you're first getting started, most of them probably do have a job. They're trying to finance their real estate business because it costs money to start in this business. But you just have to carve out that time and be disciplined with the time that you have free to dedicate to building your real estate business, to be able to sit down for a little bit, make phone calls. There's more that goes into that part of it. One of the things that my team and I do is we go out and we door knock in neighborhoods and things like that. You have to make time for this business. If you let all the other little distractions of life get to you, and then you've got to go to your job and you don't have time to build your real estate business, you're probably not going to be around a year or two from now. And I see that it happens. As far as first-time home buyers go, I started a newsletter which talks about the home buying process. I would say for anybody who is looking to buy a home, definitely speak with a lender, talk to them about what your goals are, determine how much of a home you can buy based on your income, your debts, and anything else. That is the first important step, to know what your buying power is going to be, and the lender will help you with that. And if now's not the right time, then just keep saving money, pay down your debt. That way you can build up a really nice down payment that's going to help you out. That is the first big step. Excuse me. And then after that, it's pretty much going to be your realtor guiding you through the rest of the part of locating a house, making an offer, negotiating certain terms or repairs if you need to, and then getting to the finish line of actually closing that house. But that's my biggest piece of advice first, is to talk to a lender, even talk to your tax preparer and see where you're at in that regard too. That way, when you buy a house, you have the finances to do it, and you're not going to be shocked at the end when you
Payment
start
shock
getting that.
and down payment shock. And
Exactly. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to guide them, and show them those steps before we get them into something that they're not prepared for.
Okay. And Mario, would you like to close with an inspirational quote or anything else that you want to add to?
Oh, an inspirational quote! Wow, I've read so many books, and there's a lot of motivational quotes out there. I mean, nothing is really coming to mind right now. But you know what? There is one quote. It was by Robert Kiyosaki. It says, "If you want to change your life, change your vocabulary." And that can mean a lot of different things. If you say I can't do something all the time, you're right. If
you say I can, you're also right.
Yeah, exactly. So, when you're in your daily talk, if you keep saying stuff that, I can't do this, or I can't do this because of that, because of, it's not going to happen. But if you start changing that to where instead of I can't, how can I do that? And the doors will open for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm a firm believer of that.
So that is my quote.
Well, thank you, Mario. Again, Mario, can you tell them where they can follow you, if they have any questions for you, any concerns, or, if they want to reach out to you for anything?
Yeah, just find me on my Instagram, Mario Estrada Realtor. You can also find me on TikTok. I think it's Realtor Mario 805.
TikTok moves.
I post a lot of the same content on TikTok that I do to Instagram. So, yeah, those are the two best ways to get a hold of me.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mario, for coming in. Hopefully we can bring him back again and he can go more in depth as far as like the wholesaling side of it and the investment part of it for anybody that's interested in investing in real estate. Because being a realtor and being an investor are two complete separate things. So that would be kind of cool to bring you back for that.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, thank you guys. Send me a message, comment, let me know what you guys want to talk about or what you guys want to hear about. Maybe we can do behind the scenes or random things that we do as realtors. So send me a message. Thank you guys.